Welcome to Wealth Beyond the White Coat, a show where we dive deep into the world of financial freedom for dentists and medical professionals. I'm your host, Darren Flesher, a dentist with a passion for uncovering the strategies that lead to a prosperous life beyond the office. Every episode will explore the avenues of alternative investing, tax mitigation, and secrets to build wealth that the textbooks don't teach you. Whether you're looking to enhance your financial literacy, discover new investment opportunities, or simply find a better way to manage your money, this is the place where your financial health is the core of our conversations. Welcome to Wealth Beyond the White Coat, where your journey to financial clarity and freedom begins. Welcome back to part 3 of our conversation with Laura Maly from Wonderist. In our previous episodes, we discussed building your practice's brand, understanding your marketing ROI, and how technology like AI is shaping dental marketing. Today, we'll be exploring the evolving landscape of dental marketing and what you can do to stay ahead in this competitive field.
Yeah. If I might digress and tell you another comeback story or a change story that I really, is we were working with a practice that happens to be in my hometown adjacent. So I actually knew people in the patient base because I went to school with them. My friend bought the practice, our very good friend bought the practice. We did the marketing for them. And after a little amount of time, it was discovered that the gent who sold him the practice was committing insurance fraud and is that called wire fraud when it goes over state lines?
Yeah.
And he had to say something. And so it went through I think nearly 2-year process, and obviously damaged the trust of that community, which is the community I grew up in. And here was he at the forefront of it. And he was the good guy, right? He was the one that raised his hand and said, "This is not right. Something's wrong here. I have to contact the authorities." Suffice to say, the gentleman who sold him the practice is serving a term in federal prison right now because the evidence was so damning. And so that practice obviously was hurt tremendously by what had happened. And I think one of the things that I would say I'm really proud of him on, and I'm really proud of us on, is working our way back in that very small town and saying, hey, he did a wonderful job just leading with transparency and honesty. He called every single person in the practice that he felt was affected by the scandal and sat them down and showed them x-rays and showed them their stuff. And we were actually talking about this last week, and he said they were still upset reasonably. And he was like, listen, if I brought you in here to show you this, and I'm telling you that I've been in the weeds on this for 2 years of my life and nobody would ask for this in a million years, I think you have to decide whether you want to trust me. And I think he did a wonderful job working in a terrible situation and reclaiming the practice. But I also feel really proud of us for working alongside him in what was a very difficult moment. And this was on People magazine. This was in the Daily Mail. It was global headlines for dentists. It wasn't Cecil the Lion, but it was up there.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. That's definitely not one you hear every day, but
No,
good thing
that was a
we're
rough
there
one.
to help navigate through for sure. All right. I've got a couple more questions, marketing specific, and we can talk a little bit more about investing and finances. Obviously, we want to give dentists information that they can grow their wealth and obviously keep more of their income, but grow their income beyond their own two hands. So marketing is one way they can do that. We'll talk about investing here in a second, but I couldn't have a conversation with somebody who's in tech and marketing without talking about AI for at least a second. So,
yes. This will lighten up.
Yeah. So talk to me about how the rise of AI and machine learning and all the buzzwords are going to potentially, I think that they're really additive in what we're going to do. I don't think they're going to replace humans. They're just going to allow you to maybe leverage your time and skill set to do better with what you're doing. So how do you see that affecting marketing, especially dental marketing, and make it better for you and for your clients in the end?
AI has totally changed the way that I work and absolutely changed the way that my husband works. He's much more nerdy, and then he shows me everything secondarily, and then I do my adjustments. But we have highly encouraged our team to use opportunities for AI in their day-to-day work. Here's a great one. We record every conversation with our clients pending they're okay. And the reason for that is it lets us be present in the call, knowing that something is listening and dictating the conversation in the background. Is it perfect? No. Does it get you 97% of the way there? Yes. And so we record those calls, and at the end of the call, we copy the transcript that auto generates, we drop it in AI, and we say, please make a meeting recap to send to the client. Well, would have historically taken the CSM or whoever's on the phone at Wonderist agency out of the presence of the conversation because they're scribbling notes, trying to remember everything, and then put them in front of their laptop, writing a 30 to 40-minute recap to the client. I now have captured during the duration of the call, have the transcript, shove it through AI, give it the prompts that I need. Here's the section. The section is key points of the meeting, and then next steps for you and next steps for me. And they can shoot that out in less than 2 minutes. That is a massive time savings and frankly allows for less margin of error and mistakes to be made to be able to offer that. And so I that is just one small example of how AI has made all of my life, our team's life easier, better, and allowed them to be more present for our clients. And I am very excited to see the future of dentistry and dental marketing and frankly, just humanity. I think it's going to do a lot of good, but I think we have to wield that power carefully.
Yeah, I agree. And I use it very similarly to you. I do have calls that if we're on a Zoom or you let your auditor or your note taker attend, it's super easy to just go pull that data and literally ask it a question. What do we say about marketing in this way? And it'll bring it up and you can follow through on that and act on it and have accountability around it. I think that's super valuable in what we're trying to do. So yeah, I'm glad you guys are seeing that in that way too. Hey, I just want to interrupt real quick and say thanks for listening to the podcast. If you didn't know, we have an associated Facebook group also called Wealth Beyond the White Coat. Over there, you can ask your questions, get feedback from group members, and have a close community of medical professionals who are likely interested in the same things as you. Whether it's alternative investing, tax mitigation, ways to keep more of your money, or even protect your assets, we're going to discuss those things in the group. Additionally, we have a private investors club called Legacy Point. As a member, you'll get exclusive discounts to preferred vendors, and you'll get access to private investments that you'll find nowhere else. Whether it's hotels, apartments, oil and gas, equipment rental, you name it, we'll be discussing those details and offering those investments to members only inside Legacy Point Group. If you want to learn more about that, please contact me or simply email info, I-N-F-O, at legacypointgroup.com or go to the website legacypointgroup.com. And Wealth Beyond the White Coat podcast listeners get an exclusive discount if you use the code WealthBeyond. That's all caps, all together, WealthBeyond at checkout. I'd love to have you in the group, and I'd love to see you making more passive income as you move towards financial freedom, whether it's freedom to retire early, spend more time with your family, go on more vacations, or just do more of what you love while you're in the operatory. I'd love to see you doing that as part of Legacy Point. So here's to improving your financial health.
I know what you're going to do with this. You're going to end this meeting. You're going to take this transcript because I see your little AI guy and I've got my little AI guy in this meeting. And then you're going to copy the transcript and you're going to say, Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude or whoever you're using, please make me show notes. Boom. Yeah. You're not manually doing your show notes anymore. It's amazing. Yeah. And that has SEO value to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're giving away all the secrets here. I don't think they're that secret anymore, but yeah, it's awesome. All right. Let's talk a little bit about, we talked pre-recording here about investing and what you're doing, but also what dentists could be doing as far as a lot of people are high income earners. They should obviously be doing some of the main things, whether it's 401ks and IRAs and employing your kids and all that, but there's different strategies around business ownership. What are you seeing either in your clients' lives, your own personal life that you feel like is really valuable from an investing standpoint, whether it's tax strategies or things that are not just dumping your money in the stock market? Do you have any advice or stories around ways that people have levered and turned a dollar into more by being strategic with what they're doing with their investment dollars?
I think the very first thing I would say, because I'd be remiss not to, is to tell you that if you are interested in actually knowing what your marketing return on investment is, or your ROAS is, it's time to call Wonderist, because we have the ability to show you how every dollar turns into a larger dollar amount. And if you're not sure what your marketing agency is doing for you right now, this is the perfect time to give us a call and we can get you on and in. Our wait list is very short right now, which is, we have a lull. So I would suggest making that call sooner than later.
And I guess I would be remiss to say we did talk offline pre-recording here that we both agree that a dollar reinvested in your business, your
Yes.
active business that you know better than anything else, that you control, that's going to have the most ROI in what you're doing. But eventually those buckets fill up and you plateau on what you're doing. And maybe there's other things you can do, but absolutely you should, whether it's a CBCT machine, going and taking that CE course, making sure you're using all your marketing strategies in your area, that you're bringing in all the patients you can. All of that has way more ROI than investing in an oil and gas company or real estate or whatever else you could do that's not dentistry or not specific to your active business. So yeah, we both agree on that for sure.
I'm always going to bet on myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to share around things that you've seen clients do or things that you have experienced yourself as it relates to investing?
I think it goes back to me, and I've learned a lot of lessons, and frankly, I'm still learning lessons, which is how we got introduced even for this call, is if you don't pay attention to it, it's not going to do the thing you want it to do. And so to some extent for me and our business and our life, automation and automating the things that I want to happen has been one of the best bets. And then sitting down and setting time aside to evaluate those things once a month on some things, once a quarter on some things, once a year on some things. And then honestly, just soliciting the opinions of people whom I think are smart or people who I know do things better than me. And that has been really enlightening for me this year. Just on a personal level, I think soliciting ideas from the people you meet here and there. And it just so happens that I have had interesting conversations with a number of people in the industry in the last few months. And one of them is Ross, how we were introduced. And when I start asking questions or I start telling them the things that I'm working on or what my problems are, or what I'm trying to solve for, you just get more minds collectively trying to solve a problem for you. And it really has helped me work through what is my vision? What is Michael and I's vision? How do we want to bring our kids up? Where do we want to bring our kids up? Obviously, we're in San Diego and it's not cheap to live here. And so begging those questions of yourself on a continual basis and just saying, hey, am I rising to the occasion that I want to? And I think one of the things that people may not understand in dental offices, and it sounds so rudimentary, it's like we are the most expensive person in the business, right? We're the one whose time costs the most. And you guys think about that a lot, but do you actually apply it a lot? So if you're the one sitting here doing the menial work, the question then becomes, could I be doing things where I'm making more money if I stop doing this thing? And should I stop doing this thing because I need to be free to do the bigger things? And just checking in with yourself on that on a regular basis has been one of the things that's been very insightful for me in the last year. But honestly, having a peer group that I feel is in it with me and soliciting ideas from one person to another and making introductions on how to solve problems and just networking, honestly, and being candid about the things we experience as business owners, sometimes for the first time, sometimes for the umpteenth time, and I haven't learned my lesson yet, whatever it may be, is really insightful. But fill your own bucket first, write your own paycheck first, right? And then make sure that the rest is left for everyone else. That has been a good lesson.
Yeah. You said several things there that really resonate with me. So I think it's super important to be organized and intentional with whatever you're doing and really track and follow the results. I think that's applies to marketing, it applies to your efforts in your practice, it applies to investing. If you are giving that thing over to somebody and hoping it gets done and then letting it get too far down the road before you check in on it, I think you really lose a lot of accountability and the ability to maybe correct course. So I think it's super important to have a system, cadence, whatever it is, to make sure that you are doing that thing at the right frequency and checking in on it. So I think that was a super important nugget that I took away from what you just said. And then you also said making sure that you are doing the thing that's the most valuable thing that you can do, and then letting other smart people do the things that they can do well and allowing them to really work to their maximum level of productivity, whether that's in your practice or outside of it. If it's investors, making sure that you surround yourself with people who can execute that thing. But if it's not you, if you're not a real estate person, you maybe don't want to be cleaning toilets and doing repairs. Find people who are really good at what they do, let them do that thing for you. Or if it's in your practice, let your assistants do as much of it as an assistant can do. Don't find yourself making a temporary crown or polishing a denture or whatever. If somebody can do that thing for you, do the thing that's the most valuable thing that you can do. So that was what I heard you say there. And the last thing I heard that I think is really valuable is surrounding yourself with really smart people, always being willing to learn, making sure that you network and you don't get stuck at this plateau of thinking I know everything or I've learned enough around this thing, like really just being willing to not always be the smartest person in the room. That's one thing I think I've learned in the last 2 years is it's okay to be maybe a little bit ignorant and be willing to listen and learn and grow and evolve in what we think we know. So I agree with you. That's been a really valuable lesson for myself in the last couple of years as well. So I appreciate you sharing those things. I think that's really valuable for the audience to hear, and hopefully somebody takes something from that.
Yeah. I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
The interesting thing that I think has been the most beneficial for our business this year was being intentional about scheduling our time. And what I mean by that is we would just, and we weren't like death by meeting here, but we just had a lot of meetings and they would get smattered throughout other places, through places. And then one day you'd have 10 meetings and one day you'd have no meetings. And maybe that wasn't the best use of time. This year, we decided to do an arc to our schedules. So on Mondays, Matt, Michael, and me, we're the three senior leaders, all meet with our teams in one-on-ones. So it's the individual meetings. Then on Tuesdays, all of the individual teams meet. So the SEO team gets together, the PPC team gets, and they do in other ways too, but that's their official meeting. And then on Wednesdays, we have the company meetings. So it's the entire leadership team. And then once a month, we do all hands status. So Wednesdays are the company meetings. And then Thursday and Friday, we try to leave largely unscheduled. For me, especially because on Thursdays and Fridays, I do podcasting. I often am traveling, so I don't want to have to cancel a full slate of meetings. And so it's added a lot of organization to our organization on when to expect things. So I meet with my team on Mondays, but they know that Michael, Matt, and I have our team meeting on Tuesdays. So they'll hear from me on Wednesday morning on any deliverables that need to go to back to them that they've asked me to take to that meeting. And so it's just created this really beautiful synchrony that has honestly saved so much time and effort in communications and in poor meeting scheduling, because you get the right person at the right time when you need them in the arc of the week, and then Monday starts over again. And it's such a simple principle that has saved us so much time and money this year. I can't even tell you. And I would encourage you guys to do that and to block your time if you don't, because if you don't block your time, everyone's going to take it from you. And that is the biggest time and energy suck you could possibly have. And it took me way too long to figure that out.
Agreed. Yeah, we do this in my own household. Like my wife and I have to schedule things on each other's calendars because inevitably it just gets filled with something else that's way less valuable than if we'd had just elbowed out the space and the time to do the thing that we should be doing, whether it's date night or what activity with the kids. Like we make sure that we, as crazy as it sounds, just schedule those things so that
Yeah.
they happen. Yeah,
It's so
otherwise
true.
they won't.
It's
Yeah.
so true.
Are you overwhelmed by dental school loans or practice related debt? Credit cards, mortgage payments, car loans, and more? Imagine a future where your financial burdens are not just reduced, but on track to be eliminated entirely. That's what our soon-to-be launched solution offers, a powerful, tailored version of the Shred method designed specifically for dentists. This isn't your typical debt reduction strategy. It's a groundbreaking approach to managing cash flow, cutting down interest payments, and accelerating your journey to financial freedom. With this new method, you'll discover how to optimize your income and debt management like never before, keeping more of your hard-earned money where it belongs. Want to be among the first to take advantage of this innovative debt solution? Contact me at darren@legacypointgroup.com. That's DEREN at legacypointgroup.com to join the waiting list and stay in the loop. Your journey to a debt-free life is just around the corner. Stay tuned.
We sent our first kid to kindergarten or to pre-K 3 weeks ago. And I'm getting ruthless with my time. And I was like, I'm going to lose an hour a day, which like to me, that's very precious.
Mhm.
I'm going to lose an hour a day to working. But I need to do this. I want to do this. My mom says my mom brain says I absolutely have to take Wilder to school and I have to pick him up because I will get so much joy out of that. I get so much joy out of making that little lunch every morning. And so I was like, no more meetings before 8:30 for me, nothing after 4:00, period. And so I've lost some time in my work week. But for me, I'm like, that is a non-negotiable. That is absolutely juice worth the squeeze for me. Got to do it. Won't ever not do that. And that was an easy decision to make. And it's amazing that I don't look at all of things with that lens. I wish I did. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
I don't
when we're
do this. I'm not
younger,
going to do it because I got to pick my son up. And that's way more important than whatever else is going on.
yeah, it's all priorities. Yeah, when we're younger, we're willing to trade all the time for dollars. And then eventually you get to a point where you value that time so much more and you're willing to trade some of it back. So I definitely appreciate that myself.
So true.
Yeah. Hey, I want to thank you for coming on the show. If people want to learn more about Wonderist and what you guys could do for their dental practice, give them some contact info or where they can look you guys up.
Yeah, you're welcome to visit wonderistagency.com, and there is a scheduling button there. You'll speak with Forrest, Garrett, or Chris. They're all wonderful and all have been here a very long time, so they know Wonderist intimately, and they're just a hoot. It won't be time ill spent. And then if you are an Instagrammer, you can also just reach out to us at Wonderist Agency on Instagram and send us a message.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura. I appreciate you coming on and look forward to seeing you at an event soon. I know you got a couple that you're going to in the near future, but thanks for coming on the show and thanks for sharing your expertise with the audience today.
Same. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Bye.
And that concludes our deep dive into the world of dental marketing with Laura Maly from Wonderist. We've covered everything from creating a unique practice identity to leveraging technology and staying ahead in an ever-changing industry. I hope you gained valuable insights to help grow your practice and build wealth beyond the white coat. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to catch the next episode. Thanks for listening in to Wealth Beyond the White Coat. Your time and attention mean a lot to us. If you found value in today's episode, please consider leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform and share it with your colleagues and friends. Your feedback helps us grow and reach more professionals like you striving for financial freedom. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of your financial health. Thank you for joining us on this journey to wealth beyond the white coat.